Let's be honest here, who'd have thought that Covent Garden would be a London hotspot for inner city violence, hey? Hello again viewers and welcome back. So I'm standing outside the Bucket of Blood pub, or should I say the Bouquet of Blood pub, since we're in flouncy, trendy Covent Garden after all. This pub behind me dates back to around the 1770s when it was a fully functioning pub with somewhat sketchy accounts of what it really was before that period. You could say that this pub is famous for the likes of, I suppose, Charles Dickens. He used to frequent the place. However, in addition, it was famed for a go-to place for bare-knuckled fist fighting, and it would actually be hosted in the first floor in this very building. So, knowing all of this, and given that I'm standing outside of one of London's oldest and bloodiest pubs on a given Sunday, all I want to know now is how good the Sunday roast is. I guess there's only one way to find out, so let's go inside and I'll see you by the table. Okay, it is every vlogger's worst nightmare. Very crammed in and fairly dimly lit, so I'm going to have to rely on the wonders of technology to try and make this one work. Alright, I just ordered a drink. It is ESB, which is quite a treat. If you go into a Fuller's pub and find this on tap, then certainly go for it. I believe it's one of Tweedy's pubs, if you've ever seen his channel, one of his favourite ale bitters. Yeah, lovely. £6.85 thereabouts at current prices. Bear in mind it's end of August 2025. And I'm not obliged to quote prices, as I'm not a food reviewer or drink reviewer. I'm just here to share the experience, as always. And alas, as you know, prices can change from month to month, let alone year to year. So take everything with a pinch of salt, folks. All right, enough waffling. Just a little scan through the menu. Nice, lovely small plate selection you'd expect in a pub. The classic traditional Scotch egg there. As it's a Sunday roast day, I'm going to go for. I've had beef in the past two vlogs, so I will give that one a miss today, and maybe, being that we're in the Lamb and Flag pub, I'll go for the lamb shoulder. Yeah, so let's give that one a shot. Right, my thirst and instincts kicked in, and I went in and sipped my first sip of my beer before even showing it on camera. So apologies for that. So I'll try to do it again. So here we go. Here's the ESB. So cheers from the Lamb and Flag. I just realised I sounded like Tweedy's pub there. So apologies for that. Cheers. Alrighty then. So the starters has landed. Gone for smoked salmon with. It looks like lightly toasted bread and some goat's cheese to lighten things up. Again, I didn't come here for the food. It's not a food review. It's about the pub. It's all about the history of the pub, and I aim to share that experience. I'll see if I can do this one hand. Just pry a little piece of the salmon out. You know what? It's not the most sprightly looking cuts of salmon I've ever seen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm quite skeptical about this. I mean, look at the colour. Okay, I just pried a little piece off to get one mouthful of it. And don't be worried about the colour, as it's naturally occurring part of the salmon flesh itself. Okay, here we go. Not the best salmon I ever tasted, but it will do. Okay, little piece of bread, cream cheese and salmon on top. Classic combination. It's no surprise this pub is bristling full of history. As soon as you set foot indoors even, you're just confronted with pictures, wall hangings, knick-knack, memorabilia. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's just another case of if these walls can actually talk. Okay, so I'm just trooping through the starter. Again, it's nothing to write home about. It's just something to start off proceedings with. The cream cheese certainly helps lighten things up. Counts some of the richness of the salmon. I've overheard that the lamb has just ran out, so I hope I was one of the last people who actually got some of whatever's left of that particular cut. Yes, so the internet tells me that fist fighting, either organised or random, is to be expected in 18th century Covent Garden. And I happen to be dining in the first floor in this pub where the bare knuckle fist fighting shenanigans would actually take place. So alongside rat baiting and cockfighting, all these forms of pub entertainment may seem rather brutal by today's values. However, you have to understand that back then there was no such luxuries as we have today. I suppose smartphones. So there was no such thing as online gambling or beer-fueled eBay purchases, or if you wanted to ruin someone's day in the comment section of social media. No. If you wanted to play games or just be a general menace, you had to actually turn up and be there in person. And the main course has landed, so thankfully I got one of the last of the bits of shoulder of lamb. Rather enormous Yorkshire pudding here. Look, I'll just hold it up just to show you. There you go. It looks made in house, so that's reassuring. It's not a food review, by the way. I'm just sharing the experience. Potatoes, roasted, but they don't seem crispy. I can already tell they're going to be your average communal garden style variety. And a little bit of mashed swede there to add a little bit of sweetness, and a decent amount of gravy and I believe some cabbage there and some peas underneath. So yeah, it's fine. It's serviceable. Oh, I don't want to drop my Yorkshire pudding. Okay, here we go. I just realised I had no cutlery, so I had to ask the staff for another pair of knife and fork. So I just wedged the Yorkshire pudding straight into the mashed sweetie so it actually sticks and doesn't fall off. Right, so here we go. Let's see if we can pry up a little bit of the lamb shoulder. It should be tender. You always slow cook this cut. Oh, there you go. Look, there you go. It's falling off rather nicely. And it's falling into the gravy, which works to my favour. I would, I've fortunately also grabbed another serviette and leave that just in case of any spillage. Oh, here we go. Okay. All I'm going to say is, it tastes like lamb. It's got gravy. But I didn't come here for the food. Let's put it that way. Maybe I'm a little bit spoilt from having ate at the Wolseley last Sunday. The lamb is tender. It is succulent. Falls off the bone very nicely, as I hopefully captured on the camera. However, it just seems to be lacking something. I can't put a finger on it. But then again, I have been in other brewery-run pubs, and this is to be expected. So that's what I don't rock up to pubs expecting to be blown away by food most of the time. You know what it's all about. It's not gourmet. It's not going to take you to places or reaches parts of the brain where other cuisine cannot. It's not all about that. It's just something to do. Spend time on a Sunday, enjoy yourself, have a nice meal that you don't have to cook yourself. That's the whole point of it, and that's what I aim to do. Just enjoy my time here and appreciate the fascinating history of this lamb and flag pub, or the bucket of blood, also known as. I suppose I should just give you a bit of commentary on the other items. So let's just try the roast potatoes. Not a food review, by the way. Just sharing the experience. Potatoes are very soft. They're very, let's say soggy. It's just quite not crispy. They just cut nice and easily. Here we go. It's a nice little mouthful here. Could do a bit more seasoning, I think. You can taste the herbs in there. Yeah, potatoes are serviceable, but don't expect to be blown away by them. You're in Covent Garden. You don't think about top-notch Sunday roast when you are in this particular area. It's just not the done thing. Let's try the Yorkshire pudding. Sorry, I just had to cut out as I sneezed there. Too much pepper. So, where was I? Okay, on to the Yorkshire pudding. Okay, some mashed swede. Let's see if this lifts the overall experience. Oh, there's some parsnip here. That's a bonus. Sticky toffee pudding. So it is, we go to the desserts after a Sunday roast in most cases. It's nearing autumn, so I'm giving myself excuses to go for that option. There's a rather intriguing sour cherry and apple pie. That looks rather splendid. Imagine that the sharpness, tartness of that would go well after the richness of the lamb. But being that I appreciate that international viewers may be watching this video and they might want to know the quintessential three-course meal on a Sunday, given Sunday lunch that is, I'm going to go for the sticky toffee pudding for that reason. And a slightly better showing this time round of a brought over a dessert spoon and another fresh serviette, which is a nice touch. I've just gone for the 1 pint for today. Just need to stay a little bit more lucid to finish this vlog off. So I've just gone for a Diet Cola to quench my thirst for the time being. If you happen to be a budding comedian, perhaps it's best you reconsider who you write jokes about in 18th century Covent Garden. So legend has it that henchmen rocked up at this very pub and administered a rather thorough good hiding to a certain 17th century poet and playwright named as John Dryden. And it turns out this is all on the account of a written satirical piece over a certain Louise de K. Royale, who happened to be King Charles II's bit on the side. And it would seem that the king at the time was the one who sanctioned such a royal beating. And behold, the sticky toffee pudding, a la lamb and flag style. Okay, so shall I just do the first scoop of the ice cream? A little bit here, and then we'll mix that with a little piece of the pudding. There you go, lovely combination, delectable, absolutely lovely. So the food it's edible, it's so-so. It's what you expect in a typical run-of-the-mill brewery-run pub. But alas, I did mention you don't come to this place for the food. It's more of the historical experience, and it's certainly not a dull moment if you come here for a meal or a drink. And speaking of drinks, the ESB did not disappoint. It's a lovely, smooth, almost caramel-like notes to it with enough of hoppiness to give it that bit of oomph as well for those ale bitter drinkers out there. Of course, it's slap bang in the middle of Covent Garden, the tourist central at the moment. I was flanked by visitors, tourists either side. I believe there's a family from Australia as well, so yeah, must be a bit of a shock to the senses for them, but they appear to be having a good time there, so that's the main thing. So that's about it from me today, another one of my sort of Sunday lunch vlogs in and around London. So if this kind of thing you enjoyed, then give me a like or engage in the comment section, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, as your support will be greatly appreciated. Alright, so I will see you again in the next video, so until that time, have a lovely rest of the weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.